And repeat after me. For the fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. You may be seated if you are standing. At this time, we're excited to hear from one of our teachers today what the Lord has given her. It's time for a little bit of honey. And our teacher is Alicia Stewart. Her title is Get Salted.
God many times uses the small and insignificant in his plan so that his glory and power is reflected in it. As he used the small mustard seed in connection to our faith, so does he use a small grain of salt to illustrate our purpose in his kingdom as disciples. One author wrote, "Nobody likes having salt rubbed into their wounds, even if it is the salt of the earth." This stung a little and made me think of what it means for me to be the salt of the earth. Most of us have heard in our that we are to be the salt and light to the world. Matthew 5 lists attributes of discipleship as a follower of him. He said in Matthew 5:13, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Salt preserves and releases flavors in foods. In Numbers and 2 Chronicles, salt was a symbol that confirmed friendship and loyalty between parties. Through the books of the law and history in the Old Testament, we see salt as a covenant and is many times synonymous with the word covenant. The phrase covenant of salt is used 3 times in the Bible. When you say covenant of salt, it means that the covenant will not be broken, just as salt binds together and never changes. Going back to our text in Matthew 5, right before Jesus calls us to be the salt of the earth and light of the world, he gives us the Beatitudes. It's after that he calls us the salt of the earth. As previously stated, salt preserves and binds. So as the salt of the earth, we are to preserve and bind to us humility. For blessed are the poor in spirit, godly sorrow for our sin and the sin of the world. For blessed are they that mourn. Meekness, for blessed are the meek. A desire for righteousness, for blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. A love and forgiveness, for blessed are the merciful. Purity, for blessed are the pure in heart. Peace, for blessed are the peacemakers. And a willingness to do good despite hostility and ill treatment from the world. For blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. Today, our communities and our country need covenant keepers who will be the preserving salt to this world, not in judgment, condemnation, or the spirit of being right, as to rub our salt into the wounds of those who are hurting, as the author mentioned above. But as Jesus said, to be the light of the world, reflecting his light to the world. We have a gift in the unconditional love of God. In a world of turmoil, we are peacemakers. In a world where sin is celebrated, we can mourn. In a world where pride is evident in the celebration of self, we can be meek and pure of heart. Where there is anger, bitterness, and hatred for one another, we can be merciful and righteous. Luke 14 tells us salt is an influencer. Salt helped break down fertilizer for better plant absorption and influence or affected the plant's development. Jesus said in Luke, the salt is not fit for the dunghill. When Jesus said in Matthew 5 that we lose our saltiness, he was referring to this purpose of salt used as an influencing agent in the dung or fertilizer. Jesus is saying if we lose our savor, purpose, or influence for him, then we are basically good for nothing, a fruitless tree to be cut down. But thank God for his promises. God is making a salt covenant with us here. We are the releasing agent that preserves and influences the character of God to every person we meet. If we allow his teaching here and never lose our flavor or effectiveness and influence for his kingdom, then we can and will be the light of the world. Light in the Bible is a symbol of revelation, holiness, goodness, and grace, as we see in the Beatitudes. Look at what Jesus said we obtained by preserving his character in the world. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. They shall be comforted. They shall inherit the earth. They shall be filled. They shall obtain mercy. They shall see God. They shall be called the children of God. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven, and great is your reward in heaven. How beautiful God's salt covenant is with us. And there has never been a time in my life that I believe our world is in need of this revelation than now. Like the example in Luke, salt when used in food isn't done for the flavor of the salt, but rather it influences, releases, or emboldens the flavor of the food we added it to. It binds the flavors together. We are to be the binding agent that releases or brings out the flavor of goodness in others. Colossians 4:6 instructs us, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. We are the salt and light of the world that spreads love, compassion, and empathy through our word and deed as a friend, a coworker, a sibling, a spouse, spouse or a church family member. Like salt, we are to enhance our world through preserving His commandments and His love, and bring the light of revelation to those who are hurting. The light of His comfort, His love, His forgiveness, His mercy, His promise of a heaven where there is no injustice, no pain, no betrayal, but joy forevermore. T.F. Tenney wrote, when salt loses its savor or loyalty, it is no better than sand. A big difference between salt and sand is that salt sticks together. It clings to itself. You can make a block of salt. You have salt licks for cattle in the pasture. But he said, you've never seen a sand ring. Likewise, salty Christians stick together. Mark 9:50 reads, salt is good, but if the salt has lost its saltiness, wherewith do you season it? Have salt in yourselves and have peace one with another. It is a relationship with one another that makes us to conquer the devil. Brother Tenney wrote, it is our loyalty to one another that keeps the peace. Peace in the church, in the marriage, in the business, in a relationship. And I'll add peace in our nation. He said the key to peace is being loyal or salty. You're the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Renew within us a right spirit, O Lord, and give us a new mouth to be the salt and light to this dying world. May you get the glory for it in the betterment of your kingdom. Get salty, CFO family. Be salty for Jesus. Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of honey.